This is Harden'S Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. We keeping the foot on the whoop on the necks. We keeping the foot on the whoop on the necks, and like the Tibetan Mastiff that I am, I'm applying whoop unlimited pressure. Cause pressure does whoop, it bursts its pipes. Let's talk about it. James Harden. And I want you guys to understand this because I have to preference this. James Harden has to bend the proverbial fucking knee. See, the problem with people in life is they don't know how to bend the proverbial fucking knee. When you are in the lesser position, you have to bend the proverbial fucking knee. This is what business is all about. Harden'S Sport deals with business negotiations all the time. And I rule business negotiations with an iron fist, especially when I have the vantage point, especially when I have the catalog, especially when I have the namesake. I'm going to rule it, just like collaborations. If Harden'S Sport is in the lion's share of the collaboration, then you have to bend the proverbial fucking knee. That's just the way it rolls. It's a one-way street. Just look at my influence. Look at my name. Name a day that Harden'S Sport's name is not talked about in the YouTube streets. Let me say it again. Name a day that Harden'S Sport's name is not talked about in the YouTube streets. That in of itself speaks volumes in of itself. So this is why motherfuckers have to bend the proverbial fucking knee. Well, how is this contextualized? It contextualizes to Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is the true alpha extraordinaire, governed by true alpha economics. If James Harden wants to save his basketball career, and James Harden wants to have a chance, he has to bend the proverbial fucking knee to Kevin Durant. And if he doesn't do this, absence this, then James Harden is in a pickle. James Harden will no longer be what people think that he is. And I get my boy, light him up the bomb one. Hey, stop getting on my boy James Harden. Well, step up your heavyweight lifting and step up your greatness personification, bro, in terms of basketball. You gotta understand what the Pantheon of Greatness is all about. James Harden doesn't fit the bill of Pantheon of Greatness. James Harden isn't even greatness mimication. James Harden is what we call a phony artist. He's not a number one option. He had all of these years with the Houston Rockets to prove it. And what did he do? He literally turned this motherfucker to shit. Let me say it again. He literally turned this motherfucker to shit. So James Harden would make sense as a third wheel because look what just happened with the Brooklyn Nets. Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? Well, guess what? They did lose a little chink in the armor, I'm not gonna lie. Spencer Dinwiddie, although he's a sum of all parts player, he's an integral sum of all parts player. He would be basically revealed as someone who is what we would call a Horace Grant iteration, right? So he went down. So now we need a James Harden so that James Harden could be in a position. So all these motherfuckers saying Warriors need to trade for James Harden, higgity fucking hush. Stop the presses and pump the brakes on the nonsense. Go sit down somewhere and what? Higgity fucking hush. When it's all said and done, it's as simple as this. James Harden needs to go to Brooklyn, and Brooklyn needs James Harden. They are a perfect fit. Because KD and Kyrie, Harden'S Sport can admit this, their durability is not the same as it relates to James Harden. James Harden, if he is nothing, the motherfucker is durable. Let me say it again. If James Harden is nothing, the motherfucker is durable. So they can use his workhorse ability as a third wheel. And he does all the heavyweight lifting where he can do heavyweight lifting because he's a Tony Romo, aka Zab Judah of basketball in the NBA playoffs, which is the regular season. And then when the playoffs come around, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving say, step to the fucking side, be the third wheel that you are, and Brooklyn finest domination will take over and therefore thereby do their thing thereafter. That way Kevin Durant can sit out some games. Kyrie Irving can sit out some games because of their injury-plagued histories. James Harden can do the heavyweight lifting in the regular season, and they make sense. See, in basketball, it's good to have guys like James Harden. I get it. Like a good brother, Lewis Sports Network, and he brings up some good arguments in my last video. But basketball is not about the numbers when it comes to the playoffs and the finals. It's about who can do the heavyweight lifting when it matters the most. James Harden is necessitated for that because James Harden can score like nobody's business. If he can't do nothing else, that's what he can do. That comes in handy, especially as a third option when you need it for the NBA playoffs. Because in NBA playoffs, there's two things that's reminiscent. Defense wins championships, but offense gets the glory. Let me say it again. Defense wins championships, but offense gets the glory. So when it's all said and done, James Harden needs to take his rabbit ass to the Brooklyn Nets, because in doing so, the Brooklyn is going to be where they need to be at. Plus, this is going to save his career, and it's going to save his lifeline, and he's actually going to have a real basketball career that's going to have substance, and value, because he realized his truest and his most prosperous levels. When it's all said and done, James Harden was always a Chris Bosh level player. Let me say it again. James Harden was always a Chris Bosh level player. It's sad that it took all of these fucking years for him to figure it out. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat truth teller fashion. This is He Knows the Sport. Check it out.